What's up, gamers? Welcome back to another news video where we'll fly through the newest developments in crowdfunding with a sprinkle of retail news mixed in. Before we start, I want to say a huge thank you to my Patreon members. Your support of the channel is allowing me to keep my eyes on creating content, and that is invaluable to me. Every dollar helps, and you all have been so generous. And now, live on crowdfunding. First up, we have One Deck Dungeon, Relics of a Forge, a standalone expansion to the series, launching on BackerKit. The Cats of Mont St. Michael, with around 2 weeks remaining, and Dungeon Twister with around 3 weeks remaining, both on GameFound. And then, of course, for you RPG fans out there, we have Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere RPG, which is launched on Kickstarter with around 2 weeks remaining. Now on to the news. The Foul Neighbors, Townsfolk Tussle, and Odd Jobs are on the water and headed towards backers. Now if we could only pack up our own Foul Neighbors and ship them out. Games bound for the US, Canada, and some of the rest of the world countries are due in port around September 2nd. In the EU and UK, they should hit port the same day. VFI has begun Asian shipments to individual hubs, and the boat for Australia will arrive around the 15th of this month. They're currently on the wait list for PAX Unplugged, so keep your fingers crossed to see them there. Now that Archmage Press has firmly taken the reins of the project, the books for Legendary Kingdoms, Pirates of the Splintered Isles, have crossed the waters and are in the warehouse. A fulfillment plan is being developed and books should start going out soon. Miniature samples are beginning to roll in for the Eldfall Chronicles Northern Wind. These minis pack a ton of detail without becoming too cluttered and look like they'd be a blast to paint. You can find the Eldfall Chronicles and probably see some of these samples in person at Essen Spiel in October. A rare quick update is in for Aeon Trespass Odyssey. A quick restock was done for the online store after several sellouts. They also let us know that the latest app update previously outlined has been released. The next app update will include Cycles 4 and 5 and voiceover and should arrive around the time games hit doorsteps. The latest from the Elden Ring goes into detail on the grafted Scion who is able to graft abilities together to devastating effect. When you graft behaviors together, one is placed on top of the other and resolved from top to bottom. Essentially, they're powering up their moves to one-shot the Tarnished. There are ways around this though. The Sever Row effect allows players to spend 3 FP to discard a grafted card from the marching order. Heroes of Might and Magic 3 is shipping Wave 2 now and hoping to have all packages out by mid-August. They are also close to finalizing their add-ons for the new expansions campaign. During this campaign, you'll be able to grab the old big box and the new one complete with all the expansions. Shipping has begun in earnest for Harakiri Blades of Honor with Canada, EU, Asia, and Australia shipments in progress. US shipments have cleared customs and are on the way to the warehouse. UK and rest of the world packages have hit port last week. This update also includes a reboxing video to help stuff everything back into its place. Updated components will be available during the reprint and expansion campaign for €9 and free shipping with expansion purchase. This update also marks the last painting corner section, showing all the minis painted in one spectacular photo. This month, we get a short update from the Silver Coin Age of Monster Hunters campaign. The main focus of development has been scenarios and playtesting. They've also been working on improving and optimizing the cards for the game. The rulebook and scenario book are also getting some final polish added to them. To cap it all off, they shared a peek at the box, complete with the names of the backers. Port dates for Earth Under Siege Flashpoint are already coming due, with the US and Canada having been due in on the 5th. The EU and UK will be on the 17th, and Australia is set for early August. Asian shipments will begin delivery any day now. They're locking addresses this week. They were at Gen Con demoing for content creators, and sadly I missed them, but they were nice enough to share some hints at the future of the game with everyone. Looks like a Nemesis expansion is on the horizon. The creators of Acheron's Fall would like you to know that they're still here and working. The rulebook has already undergone 14 revisions with more to come. They're still working out the budget for the project, and once finalized, they'll have a production date. The pledge manager for the project should be closing around the end of August. Monster Hunter World Iceborne has posted a reintroduction to the gathering phase for new players. During the gathering phase, you're essentially hunting the monster, following tracks, gaining resources, and eventually coming toe-to-toe with your quarry. Iceborne adds to the mini-maps, adding a unique map for each point where you find a monster. This allows for more flexibility and a better variety. There's also a completely new maze design that will keep you from treading the same ground as often while hunting. They've also tried to enrich the narrative connection to the hunting phase. The narrative now has more effect on the hunting phase as a whole. Ships have embarked for a planet near you carrying Andromeda's Edge. Their production schedule is pretty straightforward, with sea freight happening in July, transports to the hubs in August, and fulfillment beginning in September and stretching to October for international packages. This update contains some faction breakdown videos for those wanting a closer look. We have lots of news in from Triskelion Games with the announcement of the Red Mist taking the helm. Red Mist is a skirmish game for 1 to 10 players stretching across many different modes and even into scenarios and campaign-style play. Late pledges open for Cormac Mac Airt. And finally, The Thinning Veil will return to crowdfunding in 2025 once Cormac has been delivered. More freight updates for the Isofarian Guard reprint and updates are in. China packages have finished shipping. Australian games have started to arrive at backers. Canadian packages have landed and should be on the train to the hub soon. US games will arrive in port on the 19th. EU and UK should see their games hit the hub around the end of August. They're busy cooking up new plans, and we should hear an announcement once fulfillment is pretty much complete. Valheim has amassed over 16,000 followers and will be launching later this year. Mood Publishing is committed to making sure the game is out within a year of funding, so this should be a pretty interesting journey. This week, they go into detail on the Valheim experience. At its essence, it's a co-op survival game where you will fight monsters, gather supplies, and improve your home, all while being assaulted by the Forsaken. The homestead is the start of your shared base where you'll craft gear, brew meads, cook, and build useful furniture. You set out from your homestead, you'll explore new territories in different biomes such as meadows, black forest, swamps, and mountains. Just like the video game, the ultimate challenges will be fighting the Forsaken themselves in boss arena-style battles. It seems to have managed to bottle much of what made the video game so popular into a cardboard cask full of survival goodness. This is one I'll be keeping an eye on. Next up is Perseverance Castaway Chronicles, Episodes 3 and 4. They're currently rounding home on development of Episode 4, which was on display at Gen Con. They've streamlined the Voyage cards, finalized the player scaling to 2 and 4 players, and continued to tweak leader asymmetries. And goal cards have been replaced with reclamation cards, which represent the effort to make a stand against the ancients to reclaim the island. Ascendancy's August update includes an unboxing of the core game. Ascendancy's Gen Con demo sold out, but if you want to play more, make sure you sign up and help them test future content. Manufacturing of the game is in full swing, and the project remains on track for delivery in the fall. For all intents and purposes, the Pledge Manager is closed or will be at any moment. Rogue Angels has chimed in with their end-of-the-month update. Many new illustrations have been added to the game, including 2 new enemy types, new maps, and some character art. Work is continued on the 64 unlockable action cards to both balance and make sure they are narrative appropriate. Miniatures are being test printed and the bases are likely being reduced from 30mm to 28mm to allow more room on the map grid. They also wish to remind late backers that there will be a price increase enacted between September 15th and 30th. Make sure and order before then to secure the lower pricing. Translations to English are coming along nicely for the Hunter's AD 1492. There's some proofing left to complete on various elements, but everything is very close to printing. This update includes some shots of the finished miniatures and the location cards. The Pledge Manager for Under Our Sun is now open. They're wasting no time with production and will be airmailing games to Essen and Spiel for pickup. Mass production has already begun with Panda Games, and pledges can no longer be cancelled. Assassin's Creed Apocalypse shipping is mostly on hold due to shipping prices. They're waiting on them to come down a bit. Games bound for Asia and Oceania have been moved to VFI for distribution. The rest of us will have to wait a bit longer. Archon is cooking up yet another hit for the Heroes of Might and Magic series. This time they're taking aim at wargaming and introducing the Heroes of Might and Magic battles. Helmed by Jervis Johnson and Andy Chambers of Warhammer 40k fame, they're promising engaging gameplay alongside top-notch miniatures. Pre-orders will start next year. The pledge manager for CMON's A Song of Ice and Fire Tactics is once again open until August 31st. They've worked out the kinks in shipping to Brazil, and they want to give Brazilian backers a chance to hop on board. This update focuses on the Battle of the Trident skirmish set, showing off many of the Targaryen models ranging from Rhaegar Targaryen to the rank-and-file soldiers. Horror on the Orient Express had a great showing at Gen Con. Every time I got near the table, it was packed. They received a good deal of feedback, which is all being taken into account, and they'd love to hear more from those of you trying out the Tabletop Simulator mod. There's a survey linked in the update if you wish to help out. Finally, they shared 4 tracks of the soundtrack for your listening pleasure. Shipping of Tanares Adventures Ultimate Edition is coming to an end. In Canada and Australia, all orders have shipped. In the US, all but 11 orders have shipped. In Europe, they're finishing shipping now. For the UK, there are 23 more orders to go out. VFI delivery is ongoing. Translations for Tanares are expected to be complete in Q4 of this year. They'll be opening a web shop on GameFound to sell off extras. Prices are reduced in September. The latest from Go On Board's Cyberpunk 2077 deep dives into a few missions and a summary of the Labyrinth storyline. They also linked to several preview videos and a Q&A. Hopefully this will give everyone an idea of how the game plays. I'd love to see more on the campaign page at launch. First Wave production is in full swing for Nemesis Retaliation, and they're sharing some photos from the factory floor. A 2.0 prototype will be making its way to some lucky reviewers by early October. This version includes the updated backpacks, updated corridor connections, and some fresh new content. We also get a first glimpse at the Untold Stories 4, which will be shipping with the games. Finally, they've announced Nemesis the 20 Strong deck coming sometime in 2025. A closing date for the Pledge Manager for Dragon Eclipse has been announced. The Pledge Manager will officially close on the 11th of September. Plastic samples for some miniatures are starting to roll in. The miniatures have crisp detail and look like they come directly from the art. If you aren't a painter, they'll be offering the classic brownish sundrop for the minis, but these deserve some paint if you have the time and patience. The final version of the rulebook is also now available for early viewing. They also take a look at 2 of the expansions, the Untamed Arena and Foray into the Shadow Realm. In Untamed Arena, you'll have new tactics cards at your disposal, changing the flow of battle and causing new effects to open new possibilities. They're adding 2 more boosters to the Foray into the Shadow Realm, bringing the count to 4 and upping the number of legendary foil cards. The Pledge Manager for Hexplore Mountains of Godai is now open for both backers and late backers. They do not have a close date for the Pledge Manager yet, but if you want the early ship offer to get some of the backlog of amazing Hexplore products, you'll need to act fast. The vast majority of their catalog is available for early ship. This update, they're revealing changes in the Harvest cards to remove the end-of-turn effects. This should speed up the rhythm of play. Harvest yield has been removed from the resource placards, and it'll be tracked instead on the harvest yield and then in the stockpile. The dedication layer effect has been added as an additional bonus when you're dedicated to a boss. All packages for the League of Dungeons expansion and second print have arrived at hubs. Address confirmation emails should be going out shortly, and your games will follow. Open Owl Studios partied it up at Gen Con this year. In the absence of a booth, they took over the Prohibition Lounge and had some drinks and shared some news about the studio's various projects. They're trying to close the Pledge Manager for the project, but there's still a large number of backers who need to finalize their pledges. Development for the project is in the final countdown, going through playtesting and tune-up before heading to the factory. Revised rulebooks will hopefully be available next month. The next revealed character is the Herbalist and the Shepherd. The Shepherd comes complete with his loyal companion and already has a wonderful sculpt to feast your eyes on. They have delved the depths of the Beasts of Shattered Isles and live to tell the tale. Playtesting is complete for the expansions, including 6 new characters, a double-sided map, and a whole bunch of cards and new mechanics. The original idea for the Great Hunt was similar to a double-sided contract with legacy elements. It's evolved into over 60 pages of content with branching paths and multiple endings. Mid-August files will be sent for translations, with them to be complete around mid-November. March should mark the end of mass production, and May will begin fulfillments. The Pledge Manager is still coming soon. So that's going to be it for a packed news episode. Now for a challenge of the week. Convince me to learn to play or not to play Star Wars Unlimited. I've only heard good things about it, and each week I feel like I'm getting closer and closer. Maybe you can push me over the edge one way or another. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you to everyone watching, commenting, and supporting the channel. I'm trying to give regular behind-the-scenes updates over on Patreon, where you can become a member for free. If you decide to support the channel, the money is still going towards getting an actual camera for the channel. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing and helping the channel grow. Thanks for watching, and have a great week.